Good afternoon, everyone. This is Woody Collins, and this is another episode of Talking About the Congo. And the subjects that we want to talk about today is number one, malnutrition. Number two is also malnourishment. And the big idea is what is the difference between those two and what can we do about them? First, let's go ahead and talk about malnutrition. Malnutrition is when your body does not get the necessary nutrients that it needs, and uh, it can be caused by poor diet. You got a sickness, a digestive problem, uh, or even a disease that doesn't allow your body to absorb the nutrients that it really needs. And malnourishment is pretty much the same, but it says lack of proper nutrition, and it's mainly caused by not eating enough and not eating enough. And so it also can be related to that your body is not absorbing enough also. So what do this have to do with the Congo? Well, I was reading this morning, and the Congo has about 21.8 million people who are food insecure. And they also estimated that about 4.8 million children are acutely malnourished. And malnourished can cause you to, number one, it can cause the body to be stunted, meaning say it's smaller in growth and size, also cause shortness, also cause developmental problems, and a lot of other problems. So those are kids in the formative phases of development that are malnourished. So what is the end result of all this? Well, each year the UN comes out where they rank each country in the world by what they call the Human Development Index. It's an index of both uh, not only health related, but they also look at education. They also look at water, access to water, access to electricity in the rural areas, and also the expectancy of life. So, out of all the countries in the world, 189, Congo comes in at number 189. I mean 179 out of 189. So the countries that's 10 countries behind the Congo that's even in worse shape when they consider all those factors into the situation. Now, Congo in the past it's always been at right at the bottom, either at 189 or 188, or in some cases when it was back to 179 countries, there were 178. It was always at the bottom. So so surprisingly, looks like the Congo has improved a little bit, and so therefore uh, we can be a little happy with everything that's going on. But what causes all this malnutrition? Number one is they've had multiple crises. We had a crisis right there in in the Kasai where they were fighting and the farmers was not able to eat. I mean, a farm, and so therefore, when the harvest time came, they didn't have any food to harvest, and people were without food because it's not like the United States where you have a wide area of states that produces different products. Uh, if you don't grow it in that area because of lack of transportation, you don't have food. If you don't uh, grow it, then you don't have it, because most people can't afford to buy the food that's imported into the stores, the few stores that they may have. And the second thing is, farming is still subsistence farming, meaning say they don't have any large agricultural farming projects like we have. All the farming is of low, 1 and 2 farmers, village farming together, and they don't farm enough to actually produce food for sale, because they don't have transportation. That's the big reason, and they just don't grow that big of a farm. So when all this crisis arose, nobody farmed. And back in 2018, a little over 2 years ago, we went over to the Congo and did a food distribution. And part of the food distribution, after we finished that, we actually went out to actually help some farms grow it and everything. So that's kind of in a nutshell, what's going on. And also, we have 80 million hectares, which is about 200 and some million acres of arable land that could be farmed. However, only 10% of that land is actually under cultivation. So it's very under cultivated, under farming. And what they estimate of that 80 million hectares, that it could feed 2 billion people. Now, Congo only has 81 million people, so it could feed pretty much all of Africa if Congo got its act together and there was enough farming going on to do that. So let me just take a break and let you digest that. And I want to holler out to my friend Tim. Tim is coming in from Pennsylvania, from the land of bears. And also there is Frank. Frank is on today. And Frank, let's see what Frank wanted to say. Frank is saying that, my mom used to bring the health foods, and so, yeah, that's right, Frank. A lot of stuff going on. And my friend Tim is doing just a shout out to me, and also he was paging his cohort, who's also a good. I think Brian is from a different part of the country, but they work together doing some fantastic podcasts. Live streams themselves, and I participated in one of them on Saturday. It's a uplifting one that gives you a time to talk and tell people what you are grateful for, what you're happy about, and give someone a shout out. And I shouted out our project manager over in the Congo, who's doing fantastic work for us. But what I have a treat for you. Is I made a little commercial back then, and I want to show you that of the farming that we did, and then we'll get back to and see if there's any more questions coming in or anything like that. So check out this little video about the farming, and it's actually about recovering some land that was not farmed during the period of civil unrest, and you can see how it was overgrown and what we had to do to get it back to a farming state. Here is some of the work that we're doing in the Congo. With your donation, we can do more. The first thing we had to do is recover this field by going in and plowing it to get rid of all the weeds and overgrowth in the field. Then we came back and disked the field to make it level and try to get rid of the rest of the grass and stuff out of the field.
Then it was ready for planting. The farmers who owned this field came in and they planted cassava and peanuts in here. This is them planting the cassava roots. And here is what we're producing. Peanuts, they're just coming up. And we also got some cassava coming up in this field. Please help us do more and donate.
Okay, so that's the kind of projects that we do over there, and it's all to help the people to recover farm and to not be food insecure if you know in their lives. If they can farm without any disturbances or crisis, I think they can at least feed themselves. But they really need to get to the point where they are actually exporting food to other countries in Africa, because, as I said, there was 10 countries that was behind uh, the Congo in this human development index, and they are all in Africa. There's Mozambique, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, Eritrea, Mali, Burundi, South Sudan, Chad, Central African Republic, and Nigeria. So they could be providing a lot of food to people in need if they were able to get all that land that they have in the Congo, which is most of it is extremely good for planting. If they can get that all together and actually out under cultivation and start producing and then start exporting food to other parts of the world, uh, at least Africa, at least. Uh, but it's not unusual that they could even export food to other parts of the world. But I think it would be really great if they could just take care of Africa, and so that the African continent would not be a drain on other areas outside of Africa who cannot grow food in abundance like they could. So thank you so much for checking in, and for those on the replay, hope you enjoy this. And thank you, Tim and Frank, for coming on today. And thank y'all for being supportive of this process. And I'd like to ask you that if you know people who may be interested in it, please point them to our Congo Helping Hands page on Facebook, also to my personal profile, and lastly, they can go to YouTube to our Congo Helping Hands uh, page on uh, YouTube. And so we broadcast to all three of those locations every day at 3 o'clock, except for yesterday we went at 2 o'clock. And so we appreciate everything and hope that you have a great Sunday afternoon. If football is your thing, enjoy your game, and I hope your team is successful. And as always, take care of yourself and your family. Be safe and be blessed. And we will talk with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And we'll be talking about some other subjects on the Congo. Thank you so much.